So Kaiju number 9, tier 15 has officially been completed on my end. Just kind of utilizing the characters that I have right now. Again, just kind of doing it in free-to-play manner. This is what I managed to kind of come up with. Now, realistically, it's more so just 3 characters kind of pushing it for me personally. So of course I worked on my 2 DPSs and my defender. So in the phase 1 stage, being this fight itself, pretty much the supports are pretty much, well, I'm trying to just push for them to support the main DPS before they die, because ultimately they will die. These Kaijus do a ridiculous amount of damage, and that's a prime example right there, over 3,000 damage. I ain't surviving that, it ain't gonna happen. So when it came to me, sorting out my team, working on the characters, because again a lot goes into a single character, it really is 3 characters that I pushed for and kind of got me the victory. So if you're free to play about it and you're wondering who to work on, it's going to be the top tier characters, because they are going to be pushing you. Obviously do a little bit for the support, so that way you can try and get something for the main guys before they dip off, and that's kind of what well, it was more so Minna trying to give her morale boost to Ichikawa. Outside of that, yeah, I mean the support play really wasn't quite there, unfortunately. But yeah, first phase we're just kind of attacking their main kaiju. I'm leaving the other 2 kaijus alone, and it's just kind of hoping that I also get the freeze, that way I can maximize on the crystal. Obviously it is very vital that Misao is also in this fight. Because of course you do want to try and also expose the core, and so typing is also very key. And so it's the brown typing. I don't know what the terminology of it all is, but yeah, as long as you got something to break, you are going to be good to go. So primarily you want to put him as a defender for the first phase, to not only protect the team, but to also guarantee you the break. And this is a prime example of where you want that freeze popping off, because at this given moment the core is exposed, the enemy is frozen, and the damage output will be extremely high right now, I'm pretty sure I'm saying. So there goes my final support. So like I said, the supports are always going to drop off. The phase 1 will always be a 2-man run. It will always be, for me, it's always been a 2-man run. Obviously I've switched it up because of course Narumi is more vital and more important on the second phase, but yeah, look at that. Beautiful. Core's exposed, freeze has been applied, you've got the ice crystals being a thing, and just like that, 32k is looking very sweet. Obviously just keep up with that shield play, as per usual, because of course you want to keep your main DPS up there. And I guess it's also not a bad thing if Ichikawa does get targeted, because again that does help out on him getting his ultimate a lot sooner, because that's what you want. Now unfortunately, I wasn't able to yeah, beat the Kaiju quick enough to heal up. He does heal up once, just be wary of that. And it's always been around, I think it was like 27k, 28k he healed for, or it healed for, should I say? It's always been that amount. It's not been any less, unfortunately, but it's not been any greater. So that's kind of what you're looking at in terms of the healing. So nearly got him there. If your Shigawa can do that little bit more damage, then you'll be a-okay. You might be able to stop the Kaiju from healing, that way you can end them. But if not, it's not the end of the world, because you can always resort back to using your AoE and hoping for another AoE freeze. If you don't get the freeze, then again it's not a bad idea. Well, it's not the end of the world, because again the damage output from Ichikawa is actually pretty decent. So again, going back to the whole breakage side of it, don't know if I had enough. No. Okay, I'm looking at the speed bar. I'm just thinking if we managed to get the break in before the ultimate was popped off, but I don't think that's the case. But anyway, I don't know if this didn't kill, because there's only 1 health bar left. Yeah, nearly though, nearly. So obviously they're gonna do their thing now. With all the HP that I've got with all my characters. Wait, who was taking all of this? Yeah, so prime example on why you want to work on your DPSs first is because you want to give them as much, well, stat wise, you know, give them as much as possible, but obviously having that DOT play rather than going for the attack gave the shield. Now I really thought with the DOT that it will ignore the shield and go for the straight health, but apparently not. I know some games do that, but yeah, within Kaiju number 8, if you have a shield and there's DOT on your characters, poison, burn, say what it is. Yeah, it will target then the shield. So that's actually very, very clutch of him. So I was very nervous on whether or not if it was going to pierce the shield and just go straight for the HP, but that's not the case. So that's something to note. Second phase, Kaiju number 10 once again. Now, honestly, with this one, in my opinion, obviously you've got the main DPS. If you have Kikuru, by the way, she's also really good for this fight, especially with the core breakage. I just want to put that out there, but obviously I don't have her. It's fine. Naotomi is literally the counter god for this fight. Pair him up with Soshiro, give him speed, and he'll be able to get multiple hits in before this Kaiju gets his hit, and you can then lead that into the ultimate. So like with the first 1 or 2 rotations, Naotomi is an absolute demon. So obviously with the other 2 characters, it's more so just kind of pushing more for the damage, but Soshiro and the Naotomi combination is pretty much the big sell here. It really is. So already we've got the core exposed. Also, you've got to keep in mind, as Soshiro is going along, he can also build up his speed, because again, at the end of the day, in this fight, your support units actually does get some time in, which means you can utilize their support buffs, and that's exactly what you want. And in the case of Naotomi, you want to give this man as much speed as possible, so that way you can get multiple turns in before the Kaiju is able to do anything. And that's essentially look at that, beautiful. And that's pretty much the strat. Yeah, so in a free-to-play manner, it really is just kind of, for me personally, if you've got Naotomi, if you've got Ichigawa, if you've got yourself, if you've got this 4-star Soshiro, because also you do want to give him some form of health, otherwise you don't want him to die straight away. Yeah, that's pretty much like the duos that are having the most effect within the fights that I've seen. And then of course with the additional characters, if you've got anything else built up, just kind of throw that in there, you know, just to help you out. So now unfortunately, I'm pretty sure Soshiro dies here, yeah, because unfortunately this boss does stupid damage, but he does, well, I did all I needed to do. Now, once your support disappears, the next thing you're pretty much banking on right now is core exposure. That is it. That is your next trump card, core exposure. So I don't think I managed to. By the way, apparently Minashiro is a good nuker. I have seen her drop 70k, so I need to test that out and figure out what the hell's going on how she's becoming an absolute behemoth of a character. But that requires investments. Yeah, we'll get them when we get there. But anyway, like I said, after you lose your Soshiro, of course, and Naotomi's left on his own with his other DPS buddies, yeah, you just kind of resort to core exposure, and of course his core exposure towards the enemy is probably bar none. Like, it's probably one of the best in the game. Yeah, didn't expect Kaiju number 8 to beat, but hey ho, it is what it is. Kind of keeping it, well, yeah, I was about to say lore-wise, but it's fine. But anyway, yeah, that is how that is done. That is the strat that I decided to go with, and that's how I managed to complete floor 15. Now, to do it without losing anyone, that's going to take some time, because I need to level up some characters, but yeah. Also, one thing to add, just before we call it there, in about less than 2 hours, the update will begin. There is an update today, and obviously it's going to be the continuation of the story, and I'm hoping I'm wrong, but it could be a new gacha. Could be. I'm hoping I'm wrong. I really am.